Hi, everybody. Carol Roth from the W Club, and I am so excited to have you here for this exciting celebration. Yes, we are celebrating 30 years of Integrity Toys, quite the milestone, incredible milestone for the company, as well as a celebration of collectors who have been with us, some for 30 years and some brand new, but excited to have you all with us. I want to give a shout out to our W Club members, as well as the fans of Integrity Toys on a broader basis who are joining us here. We're excited to have you here for today. So I hope that you have maybe a fun beverage or maybe a snack, and really looking forward to this celebration with Integrity. As I've mentioned probably 7 times now, it is a celebration. And so the only rule that we ask is that everybody keep their comments in that kind spirit, because we're here to have a great time. So with that introduction, I would like to introduce our illustrious panel for today. We have joining us the founder and president of Integrity Toys, Mr. Percy Newsome, as well as our members of our incredible design team. We have David Buttry, Chris Duckel, Jesse Ayala, and of course, Mr. Alain Tremblay. Gentlemen, wonderful to see you.
Hi, everyone.
Hey.
Hi, Carol.
Hi, everybody. Hi, Carol.
Such an exciting time, 30 years. Percy, obviously if we're celebrating 30 years, we have to start with the man who started it all. So if you can put yourself back in that mindset 30 years ago, what makes you decide that you want to start a toy company?
Wow. Well, it's a long story, to be honest. I got started basically because I had my experience working for a toy company for 6 years before starting my own. But, you try to do what you know best. So after that company decided to relocate, I was not willing to do that. And as such, I took the opportunity of starting my own.
It's incredible. And obviously, you had a very clear perspective that you wanted to do something different in the market. Can you tell us a little bit about that and how that informed the roots of Integrity Toys that we still celebrate today?
Yeah, well, I started in 1995 when there was a major void for ethnically correct dolls on the marketplace. Many of the buyers for the mass market, where we started the company doing the Playline dolls, recognized that there was that void. However, they were not really filling that void the way they should. It was a long struggle to get them to understand the real marketplace. African American parents were complaining about not having their features on the dolls, and their children's self-esteem was low because they couldn't pass that on. Most of the major companies who were manufacturing dolls at the time were just putting out the same generic features on any one doll, but all they were doing is pretty much changing the skin tones. So I set out to make that difference in terms of making sure that our dolls would be sculpted correctly.
Yeah, it's an incredible origin story, and obviously you were a pioneer. Alain, do you want to pull up for us the slide so that people who may not be familiar with some of these beautiful dolls and where they started? And I have to say, Percy, Alain, I'll get to you in a second. I'm noticing in the upper right-hand side, you even have one of your daughters on the packaging, correct?
Yes, the package that is shown, the little girl there, is my last daughter. That was Chelsea, who we photographed on the doll package.
So cute, so cute. So, Len, you have been with the company for about 25 of the 30 years, and you started, when Janae and some of these dolls were just, really hitting their stride in the market. Can you talk to us a little bit about some of the dolls we're seeing here and your early experiences with the company?
The two on top, like I know, like the like that was the Janae 1.0. Like Percy, like please correct me because Percy worked on those before I came on board. So the one with Chelsea's picture, and then the other two in the upper left corner of
Yes, those are the original.
yeah, those were the original. And then the ones at the bottom, I put some that I did, like the Egyptian series was one I worked on. The African Legends is also one I worked on. And then like I think 2004 is when we decided to stop the play line, if I'm not mistaken, because we were like pretty much involved in fashion royalty at that point, and like we switched over from doing the collectibles and the toddler dolls and everything. But those were so much fun. Playline was a very different animal. I remember working really, really late nights, sometimes burning the midnight oil completely, like because we couldn't even transfer computer files to China. Had to do like everything by FedEx, like burn a CD and then FedEx it over with the artwork for the packaging to China. Like it's just the way of working back then was very, very different. So like it was and Playline has its own code of conduct, if I can call it that way, with the way like the warning languages and everything on the packaging have to be. There's a whole language for Playline that's very different than doing collectibles. So like it's been Integrity Toys has been like a really good school for me, if I can call it like that. And now I like to think that probably I could teach the class.
You went from the apprentice to the master. That happens a lot.
Exactly.
Let's pull this down because I want to get Percy's perspective. You started, with these beautiful Playline dolls, making a mark in the industry, fighting for space when maybe the buyers didn't understand the need. Why did you decide to transition the company over time from Playline to the collector space, as Alain had talked about?
That was based on, here again, the buyer's response to all the efforts put in. In those days, you had like 3 locations for Toy Fair to even get your product into the marketplace on the shelves. We had to be in New York City, then they had us going to Hong Kong. Then there was a show in Dallas like 2 months after. So it entailed a lot of travel and jumping hoops just to meet with buyers. Not to mention when you meet with them and they show an interest, they go back and you raise your hopes for something substantial to come out of that, because the marketplace was available for those dolls that we presented because they were all ethnically correct, and they knew that their place, the market demanded it, and there was an avenue to actually place those dolls. However, I guess they were skeptical or scared because of giving a small company unknown shelf space, so to speak. For them, the shelf space is what matters, because they were, I guess, graded upon how much turns they can make on that shelf. So it was easier for them to just make a decision. Why not just go with the larger companies who are just presenting something that looks ethnic to the marketplace, even though parents were screaming that that's not what they wanted. So, it was out of my control, so to speak, because what we got in return was minimal orders in terms of quantities. Our products would get to the shelf, they were sold out. It's too late to restock because most times those items were sold seasonal. Most of the dolls would run through the Christmas period. So trying to get a reorder from them to actually stock the shelves was not possible. So we went through just having those minimal quantities after having to do so much of travel and expense going here, there, and everywhere. So when the opportunity arose and the collector market opened up, and I got to understand the marketplace for the collectible dolls and see how much it was similar in respect. It's just that this was adults demanding these dolls that were pretty much, they wanted ethnically correct as well, either for their parents, for their children, based on price points. Not all of them could afford to have it for a thing, but then, the collectors know what they like.
Yeah.
So it was easy in terms of control. After I saw that I could make just as much on a business aspect of doing collectible dolls where the quantities or volume was not as much, but I controlled what went out, so to speak. I didn't have to be subjected to a meeting with the buyer, having all my hopes raised, and then got an order for 1,000 pieces to be placed down,
Yeah.
just in the Christmas season. The collector market was throughout, as you can, once you can make the dolls available, collectors will purchase. So I made a business decision that rather than spend all that time and effort into just having a few dolls available on the marketplace, is to transition to the collectible market.
No, it's such an important point, and I think that people forget some of the challenges that a smaller business face, as certainly as you said with the big box stores. And even today, I think that people don't realize sometimes that Integrity Toys still is a small family-owned business. David, the competitors for Integrity, the closest competitors are multi-billion-dollar organizations. And I think sometimes because the Integrity product is so beautiful and so well loved across the world, that people think it's the same. What are some of the challenges and opportunities as somebody working in a small business that we face that is different than if you would work maybe in a larger competitor?
Yeah, I think some of our larger challenges have been like access, where other corporations may have an easier time getting access to supplies or production issues or things that may come easier to larger companies. It's sometimes it's a challenge for us to get things that other people have or to have access to things, and so you kind of have to do some workarounds and be creative. And we have recently had a discussion talking about we are multitaskers here at Integrity Toys. So we wear multiple hats. Each one of us does more than just design dolls. We've all sort of, tiptoed in other things in order to get our product to the market. So that's one of the things that's a little bit different, because I'm a doll designer, yes, but I also do graphic design a little bit, and I also do copywriting a little bit, and I do, we do a little bit of, whatever we need to do in order to get the product out. And the things that do make it easier for us, because we are a smaller company, is that we're not beholden to a certain market. And so whether larger corporations may have to be concerned about children and safety codes or things like that, is that we aren't as restricted by those, because we do primarily make dolls for adult collectibles, adult collectors. And so we can, if we want to pack a cigarette with a doll, we can do that. Or,
and we have
companies, and that, that enables us to have a little bit more freedom sometimes. So that's the positive side of doing dolls from a smaller company point of view.
Absolutely. Chris, can you expand upon that too? I know you're somebody who wears, all of these different hats in a small company. Walk us through some of the things that you do in terms of working on a doll.
Yeah, we are kind of like the old-fashioned one-man band, with all the different things going on. I guess it really starts kind of with the sculpts, and we're all of us are very involved when we're doing a new one with the sculptors, making sure that things are the way we want them. Good example of that would be the Eartha Kitt doll. There was, some revisions that needed to be done, so we get very involved with that. Once that's done, then there's a face paint to be done and approved. And while that's all going on, myself personally, I do all my patterns and sew my samples and do my hairstyle samples. I like to do it all because I'm kind of, finicky about things. So I don't like giving up control. So I'll do that. And then, once all the fabrics are chosen, you pick all the makeup colors. Eventually you end up with a fully realized doll. It's really fun to be able to, and I think in a big company we wouldn't have that kind of control. I love the being able to control the entire thing from start to finish.
Yeah, it's a huge differential,
Yeah.
right? In a big company, you may just be the pattern person or just be the
Right.
hair person. And here with integrity, you really get the opportunity to flex creativity across the product. And obviously,
Yep.
I think that shows. Jesse, I want to bring you in here. Obviously, with 30 years of history, there is so much canon, so much lore, so many favorites for collectors. Yet at the same time, you have to balance, what's coming out in pop culture and the zeitgeist and being modern and innovative. How do you strike that balance between, what it is the collectors love from yesteryear, but also keeping things moving forward?
Yeah, totally. No, that's a good point. I mean, there's that dialogue that you have to keep between, paying homage to the established lines and like what collectors like from those, but at the same time, you still want to bring innovation and fresh ideas, just stuff that encapsulates everything that's going on in pop culture and fashion, beauty. There's so many different realms that you pull from, and so I think that's what keeps it interesting and fun, is just to just try to figure out new ways to do things and say different things with switching up the looks, but keeping that DNA that we all love.
Yeah, and you do that very effortlessly. So kudos on that. Percy, Integrity Toys, as I said, some people don't realize is really a family business. You have so many of your family members who are involved in some way or shape or form with the business. And you have two of your daughters, Mel and Sash, who run the day-to-day of the business, who, by the way, would be here on camera, but they don't like being here on camera. We'll try to drag them out next time. But why is it important to you to have an intergenerational family business?
Well, to be honest, my parents were responsible for the man I am here today. And I lost my mom in my 30s. And I always remember that she had this one saying that she would chant over. She became ill. There's this one thing that somehow is embedded in my mind, that she would always say this phrase, all of us together. I don't know if she meant that she wanted us to continue being together, but that was something that as she got ill, she kept repeating. Then for those who have joined us in the earlier days, when we had conventions, you would have met my dad. He was always close to me. And, their upbringing kept the family together, so to speak. And for some reason, I felt it was my duty, because I pretty much took care of my parents, to carry on and grant their wishes, so to speak, at least my mom's, where she wanted us all to be together. So when I started, my sister Joan, who some of you have met and know, took that leap and joined the company when it first started, and I'm happy to know that she is still here and have gone through many of the hardships and being able to be with us and continue to help along in the entire process. So it's I guess the upbringing and the fact that my parents just wanted I think it works for me too, if I should say. Not many businesses are successful when they're family owned or controlled, because most often there are disagreements among families, but I've been able to mold my kids, so to speak, my daughters and my sons, in the way that they respond and they enjoy doing what they're doing. They have additional benefits, so to speak, in the sense that with a family-owned business, if you're working with someone, you can't just say, well, look, Dad, I have this thing that I must get to today. Is it okay? If you're working with someone else, you have to show up. If not, you don't get paid, so to speak. So I think that is what has kept this company going as a family owned.
Yeah, that's very special. And I think that, part of that DNA is also something that we get to see in the product, in the way that the company interacts with and really cares about collectors, which is very different than you would have with a big corporate entity. So kudos for that. David, you've been with the company now for 2 decades. You've seen so much. You've done so much. I know you started when you were 15. What are you the most proud of?
Oh my gosh. So many things, but I think probably Poppy is probably something I'm the most proud of. It's been kind of amazing to see that, it's not every doll line that lasts 15 years, now 16 years. It's just, kind of unreal. Most dolls have like a shelf life of like around 5 years, or a line, like most mainline lines. So it's been fun to see, something that you create or help create go on and kind of flourish. So it's been exciting, but also just I've been here for a really long time, and it's like the bonds that we have as sort of, when we talk about family, but there's also a family inside the family at Integrity Toys, that we've been friends some way or somehow before some of us were even working at Integrity, and we've maintained those relationships. So that's been very special too. So it's been a really, really lovely experience for the last 2 decades.
Amen. Very well said. Eleni, I want to transition a little bit and give people some of the things that they're looking for. And I know one of the questions that comes up all the time is, how do I make my dolls last? We've been doing this for 30 years. You have a lot of expertise. So both in terms of doll care and fabrics, are there any tips and tricks that you can share with those listening on how to make sure when they buy something that they really are preserving it for the future?
Oh, absolutely. The two things, heat and humidity, are your enemy, and the sun is the ultimate enemy. So like, keep all of your collectibles away from the sun. UV light, even like, and I can't keep saying it enough. I know I've said it in many presentations before, unfortunately, but some of you still have like those coil light bulbs around your house. I don't know if you know which ones I'm talking about. I know they're being phased out in most countries now, and like because they're really bad for your health, but like they also project UV light. So if you have them like anywhere in your house, do a sweep, get rid of them. And if you put like LED light bulbs around your house, make sure that they don't produce any UV light either, because those will degrade plastic colors. They will degrade, especially the heads and the hands. Like, those are made of PVC, so they will change color for sure over time with UV light. But humidity and heat together is the big killer, because it will destroy all the fine fabrics, like the leathers, the fake leathers, and all of this that we use. Unfortunately, I know some of you live in climates where you can't help that, but as much as possible, like, all of your collectibles should be kept in a dry, sort of like heat controlled place as much as possible. And that's what it is. And
so if somebody were to live, let's say, in an area that has a lot of heat and humidity, what's a tip? Is it, putting it into a shoebox, paper? Like, what kinds of things can they do for preservation?
If you're not going to put them on display for a very long time, I would say like acid-free paper, and put them away like in a dark area, like in a shoebox, or like the lovely Integrity Toys packaging that we designed. That's what it's for. So I make sure that whatever paper or tissue you're wrapping your dolls in should be acid-free all the time. That also helps. But really, it's not sorcery. As much as we like to make them last as long as possible, they are toys. And they are made of plastic. And over time, those materials, like, if we're not careful with them, they'll last a period of time. Sometimes they'll last really long. Yep. I think it's just common sense, and if you're careful, there's no reason why your thing shouldn't last for a very long time.
All right, very good tips. Jesse, as we look ahead, where do you see fashion going in the years ahead, and how do you think that might influence your design as Integrity Toys looks ahead to the next 5, 10, and hopefully 30 years?
Oh gosh, that's such a loaded question. I mean, I think the one thing that is really exciting about fashion is that there really is no limit. I mean, we're melding together different ideas, different points of view. Like, I think it's really exciting in terms of seeing like trends come and go, but at the same time, it's like yeah, we're just pulling from so many different things that the combinations are infinite, and I think that's super exciting. And again, like I liked the dolls to kind of reflect what's going on in current fashion and beauty and trends like that. So I mean, that's all that we
So
can
let
do.
me ask you a follow-up to that, because one of the things about you is that you always put out, and we know it takes like a year plus in the design and development of a doll,
Yeah.
but when you put it out, it always ends up that whatever it is that you're creating tends to be in the zeitgeist. Like we see some celebrity who's wearing it, even though you've conceptualized it a year ahead of time. So how do you have this crystal ball that you're looking in where you're always hitting those trends right on time?
I'm so sorry, my dog is barking.
Your dog is adding to the conversation. That's okay. Go ahead.
She's responding for me.
She's spoiled.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Jess.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, so I was saying, it takes a year for you to develop these designs, but by the time they're released, they always seem to be right on trend, even though you started working on them a year before. So how are you able to nail that timing so well?
That's the tricky thing about, working with these lead times, is that you're kind of picking up on trends that you're seeing, I guess, in an organic kind of way. And it's a little bit of like trend forecasting as well. But yeah, it makes it really difficult sometimes when you put out something, and let's say on the opposite side of that, it's like, oh, why are we revisiting this? Like, we've already heated up these nachos, you know what I mean? Like, so that's the tricky part. You kind of have to not be so much into the micro trends, but more as a macro, I guess that would be the way to put it.
Love it. Chris, you've had a big recent success with your most recent popular doll. How does it stretch you as a designer to be able to play in these different realms?
Well, I think, with the 50s dolls, I'm kind of look at it like watching a movie. It's got to be right, or if there's a little detail that's wrong, it bothers me. So doing the popular, I was able to kind of like just spread my wings and do whatever I liked. I mean, to just go crazy, mix all different kinds of things, colors, patterns, things, whatever I could think up. And I think it's wonderful to be able to just, let yourself go. I do tend to be a bit, control happy when it comes to that thing. So being able to like let loose for me was wonderful, and it was a great joy to do, and I really hope to do many more. I really do. I loved it. I loved being able to have that freedom to just create for the sake of it.
Now, you did a beautiful job, and
Thank
we look
you.
forward to many more. Percy, I want to go back to you. Obviously, 30 years of beautiful dolls. Do you have a particular favorite character?
That's hard to say. That's like asking me which of my kids I like best.
I wasn't going to ask you that because I know they're all watching.
But I have to say, Janae is what started it all for us, for the company. And Janae pretty much represented who we are, or still represents who we are, and why we are here 30 years later. So if I have to select one, then I will have to say it is Janae. I love them all, but Janae will be my favorite.
It's absolutely makes a lot of sense that your first love has a special place in your heart. The other thing that I don't think people know about you is that you love to display the dolls that we've seen in your home, in your office, that you always have doll displays. Why is that important to you?
It's important because it kind of reminds me of where we are and where I've come from, so to speak. Looking back, I don't create myself, but I'm fortunate to have great designers, and that's only because of me having a keen and good eye for good work, so to speak. And everyone that is on the design team has been great throughout the years. And it's a nice reflection of always being able to look back and see, creativity at its best and hard work and what it means to run a business, so to speak. So for that reason, even though I'm not a collector, I have to, run the business, so to speak. I still enjoy looking and having a collection around.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, I'm going to give you guys a few little crumbs here. So I'm going to try and get some ideas on what's ahead from all of our designers. Chris, let me kick off with you. Any morsel you can share with us?
I'm sort of concentrating with East 59th on more of a couture vibe going forward.
All right, couture is good.
Yep.
We love that. David, what morsels can you give us?
There's going to be a few surprises this year, and also we always like to go back to mod as sort of a starting point with Poppy, so we might tiptoe around that neighborhood a little bit again. So
I see we're going to get the oohs and ahs on that one for sure. Jesse, any morsels you can throw out for us?
I'm going to be pretty tight-lipped, but I already gave you guys a little hint that there's going to be some traveling going on, but I think the next little morsel I'm going to give is that there's going to be, like David said, a little bit of surprises, a little bit unexpected things coming up.
All right,
We'll
little coy there, Jesse, but we'll take it. Alen, you're always crafting interesting things and up to good and no good. What do you have going on for us?
I'm supporting all of these guys and what they do. So like we've got some pretty exciting stuff. I know, like I'm very, very proud of the online event we've got coming up this fall. I think you guys, I just got the packaging finally finished and some of the details. And honestly, like I've seen what these guys have done too. Like I don't want to put anything out, but it's so different than anything we've done before that I can't wait to unveil it, because anything we do for these special online events or conventions or whatever, like is always some of the most fun stuff, like for me to work on, because like it's so involved. There's like a theme that we've got. So like I can't wait for you guys to see that. And I know, like they said, we also have like some pretty like out of the box, like pretty cool stuff coming up until the end of the year. So, fashion's always new. It's always fresh. And I love that like what we do represents a mix of fashion and toys. So I think that's why like Percy's been in there for 30 years. I've been in there for 25. Like these guys, it's so refreshing to be working with something that constantly evolves, that constantly changes. I think that's what I love the most about it. And I'm always so thrilled to be able to share it with everybody, because it's always new. Everything we do is always new to us.
Yeah. So, it's exciting. And for W Club members, that online event will be coming this fall. We'll have more information on that for you soon. All right, Percy. So Integrity Toys started 30 years ago. Could you imagine 30 years later that we would have this level of success, that we would have a club for 20 years? What do you think about what you've created over the last 30 years, and where do you see Integrity going in the future?
Well, who knew? I would say. When we celebrated our 25th anniversary, I thought that was the icing on the cake. But then we're here 30 years now. Those 5 years flew by so fast. I guess, it's like it goes by fast when you're having fun. So I hope everybody's having fun along the way in terms of what we actually do. The W Club, here again, 20 years. I must say that I'm very thankful that I made that decision in having you guys liaise with the company, because I personally respect customer service. The company has been built on providing customer service, and the W Club actually is the one who pretty much listens to our collectors in terms of their needs. It's hard to provide or satisfy everyone, obviously, but there is at least that bridge and the understanding that they can reach out to some avenue to be heard. And we listen as a company. We may not be able to please everyone all the time. We do our best, but I can promise going forward that, it will continue to be the same, that we'll do our best to satisfy as many of you as possible. and hope that, we'll be doing this for many more years.
Very well said. All right. So, words for the collectors. I'm going to start with you, Percy. Any words for the collectors?
I would really like to thank all of the collectors for their support throughout the years. For those who have been with us from the beginning, for those who have joined, who are new to the collections. And I hope that we bring you as much joy as we find in creating those dolls. Everyone is a masterpiece. And I can only do this not by myself, but from, the great team that I have working for me. So I thank you for all that support and hope that we can continue gaining your trust and support going forward.
Thank you, Percy. All right. David, any word for collectors celebrating 30 years?
Oh, well, all I can do is add on to what Percy said, is just to thank everyone for their support over the years. And it truly means a lot. And to have so many people I know personally have been a collector of Integrity toys since certainly before I even came into the company. So they've been around for a very long time. So we can only appreciate those people and their willingness to kind of go along for the ride. So thank you all very much.
Beautiful. Chris?
I thank you, all of you, for letting us do what we love to do for a living. It's been 17 years for me now, and it's been wonderful getting to know all of you. And we all know that without you, we're not here. So thank you.
Jesse?
Yes, thank you guys for all your support, and thank you for enjoying our dolls and our creations the way you guys do. It's so exciting and fun to see how everybody, enjoys the hobby, right? And so looking forward to showing you guys more.
And Alen?
It's been an incredible ride. I really want to thank our customers, because some of the experiences I've had the opportunity to experience or to go through or live or in the last 25 years, I don't know what my life personally would have been like without the contact with collectors, with the whole interaction, what the little world that we've built, the little family, because collectors are just as much a part of our family, I think, as we've become part of their collecting family. So it's been it's very humbling to be here 25 years later and still be partaking in all of this. So thank you. It's hopefully we'll be here for another 25.
All right. So if anybody has a glass, let's raise it right now. I want to do a toast. First to whatever you have. This is very improvisational. To Percy and the Newsom family. Percy, congratulations on 30 years. You are such an amazing business partner and businessman, and just such a kind individual, which I think that for people who haven't gotten a chance to know you can see shine through in your talk about how you built this company and how you've done so with love. And just could not think of a better group of people to work with. So congratulations on this incredible milestone, and to this wonderful group of designers who have done so much and really elevated the experience. Congratulations to all of you for being part of what is really a special company. And to all of our customers, you guys are amazing. I mean, this company, Integrity Toys, doesn't thrive for 30 years and continue to grow every year without you and your enthusiasm. And I just think it's just such a special moment. And, when there's an opportunity to celebrate, how many times do we get these opportunities to celebrate in life, that we should take that opportunity. So big cheers to everybody.
Thanks,
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so now the important stuff. We know that even though the collectors enjoyed hearing from all of you, they heard that there might be some swag or something, and that's really why they're here. So let's talk about, with Jesse. We'll keep everybody here because we might have some Q&A at the end. But we can't have a 30th anniversary without a 30th anniversary doll. So Jesse, you are the one who had the the honor and the task of designing for this 30th anniversary. So what inspired your thinking about what would be the perfect doll to commemorate a 30th anniversary for Integrity Toys?
Oh my gosh, so much pressure.
Always. We just like to dump it all on your shoulders, Jesse.
No, I mean, I think obviously 30 years is insane and it's an amazing, milestone. And I really wanted to create a doll that kind of emulated, the origins of Integrity Toys. And Percy may have whispered in my ear a little something for this as well. But some of the inspiration that this doll utilized was the early playline dolls. But this is done in like a couture, like high fashion take, and it's really celebrating Black dolls, ethnic dolls, which is what made Integrity Toys what it is today.
All right, so with that, let us unveil Mother of Pearl Janae, the Integrity Toys 30th anniversary, gorgeous couture doll, Jesse. Incredible. I'm going to have Alen flip the slide so that we can talk about this wonderful beauty.
Okay, so as most of you guys know, the 30th anniversary usually is considered like the pearl anniversary, right? There's always like a gemstone associated or like a metal, but this one is like the pearl anniversary. So that was really the jumping point, in addition to kind of wanting this slight African undertone, because the early Janaes, there were some really amazing ones like Mozambique Masquerade and Serengeti Sunset. So they were great, inspired by African culture and stuff like that. So I wanted this one to have, like I said, like a couture feel, but really be centered around the vibe of a pearly aesthetic, I guess you could say. So yeah.
It's gorgeous. And I have obviously just the construction, this beautiful tweed suit jacket that has this oversized cape collar with the fringe detail and the very long skirt with the train. Tell us a little bit more about these details.
Yes, of course. So the silhouette is actually inspired by this archival Dior look from like the late 90s. And that whole collection was very tribal inspired, and it had these African undertones. And so I thought, it would be a perfect marriage, right, with like the tweed fabrication and like the pearls, and just something that created this over the top but refined and elegant look.
It's incredible. If we switch to the next slide, one of the other interesting things that you've done here is that you've given us sort of a bonus second look. So that obviously the beautiful suit jacket can be worn, or you can swap it out. And now we have this wonderful bustier with a corset detail. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I love to add little bonus pieces so you can mix and match and play with your dolls, of course. But I wanted to just kind of accent this look with this bonus corset and just have like these little drapes of pearls from her hip, and just kind of setting that off. And yeah.
And she's obviously, playing off that 30th anniversary pearl as the gift. You've got this wonderful pearl drop purse and the pearl earrings and these little droplets that are coming off at the corset. So it's really a very clever nod in a way that you've put this all together.
Right. And there's also like threes incorporated in the look. Like there's 3 drop pearls, 3 strands of pearls on each side. So we're continuing on with that theme.
Always like these amazing details that Jesse comes up with and ways to weave everything together. Head, right? And also the other thing too, this gorgeous fabric. I love that, you have this kind of golden weave that's going through the tweed as well, which makes it a little bit more elevated and celebratory.
Yeah, there's this really pretty metallic thread throughout the fabric, and it catches the light really nicely, and it gives it a little glimmer and a little sparkle.
It's incredible. All right, let's go to the next slide, and we can see this incredible face up. Jesse, you always know how to take the face to the next level, and her intricate, gorgeous hairstyle. Talk us through this.
Thanks. Well, I was really excited to get to work on this icon, right, Janae? And so this is actually one of the smaller versions of the Janae head, but this is the first time she's on the this FR body. But I developed this new screening for her because I felt like, I mean, the occasion called for a brand new, fresh look. So yeah, here she is. And there's a little hidden W in the hair. I don't know if y'all spotted that.
So Claire, and talk us through, because she does have these braided elements. So talk us through how that braiding works.
Yeah, so these front braids that you see coming, it's from the part really. So they're just, woven into the little hair. And then she has this ponytail, and there's like another 3 little braids on the length of that ponytail as well.
Gorgeous. All right, let's go to the next slide, and we're going to have Alen come in because there's another little bonus that is coming with this 30th anniversary doll, which is a photo card holder. So talk us through that, Alen.
So we wanted to do something special. I know, like at the convention last fall, the Stilettos Out, we did the little storybook where you could collect all the cards, and we had like the story that went throughout the entire weekend, and it was very, very, very popular. But convention being more limited, of course, not everybody were able to get that book. So we've decided, we talked amongst ourselves, and we tried to narrow down like what were like the key looks in the last 30 years of the company, what we felt were sort of like the holy grails look wise of all the different designers, like what the dolls we've worked on and everything. So we came up with this book. It's going to be included with the Janae doll as a bonus when you order her. So it's a nice folder. So you're getting the first card. We have a picture of it here. So like the first card is Janae. That's going to be page number 1 of the book. And then throughout the year, as we're releasing more W Club exclusive products, you're going to get another stack of card included with those products at random. Or there's a mechanism. I'm not going to use the word random because Carol's going to kill me. She doesn't like random. But I'm learning. I swear I'm learning. So so there eventually at the end of the year, for those of you that buy this, you will have eventually like a full book of like all the looks that we consider to be like key looks, holy grail looks of like what the company's produced. But yes, but everybody gets this beautiful book, and it's also the packaging for this doll matches the book, so it's a really beautiful set.
It is. And if we can go to the next slide, we can see all of this together. And Jesse, there's so much with this, with the shoes and the bangles and the cuff bracelets and the necklace. Like, walk us through all of these wonderful accessories that we're getting.
Yeah, of course. So, I mean, yes, the look is pretty stacked, right, in terms of the jewelry and the pieces that she comes with. But I think that is important for, to give like this overall sense of opulence that she has going on. And again, everybody knows I love a pearl, and like she's just decked out in pearls. Her little purse is this really cute new piece that we worked on. And so it has this little clasp in the center. It opens up with magnet, and it's just kind of like this one big giant pearl for her, and that kind of offsets the look. And
I've got to say, those shoes with the chrome bottoms, the slip-on shoes, there's something special about that too, right?
Yeah, it's a new high heel shape, and it has a little pearl like in between the heel.
Incredible. And then obviously also the golden molded shoes and all of this jewelry, a whole thing, because
this
you really are
jewelry,
you are really creating this look that takes Janae full circle from where she started and the beginning of integrity, and brought her to this beautiful collector's version worthy of celebrating 30 years. All right, let's watch her spin. And then I'm going to give everybody some good news about Janae, but we'll watch her spin first because she's just so pretty. Oh, she is just incredible. And now you can see some of that beautiful styling with the hair from the back and the wonderful braid that's part of her long pony in the back. And she's just beautiful. Percy, how excited are you about this 30th anniversary doll?
Very, very excited. This makes me want to continue for maybe 30 more years.
Amen to that.
Not sure I'm going to get there, but.
All right. So this is the good news, collectors. First of all, this is going to be open to everyone, and there is going to be no limit on ordering. So it doesn't matter if you have a certain number of club memberships or if you're not a club member, you can order as many of these as you want. It is the Janae 2.5 head mold. It is on the FR body. She is in A-tone with dark brunette hair. In terms of pricing, for W Club, or well, I guess the MSRP on this doll is $220 plus shipping, handling, and tariffs. And for W Club members, it's going to be $199 plus shipping, handling, and tariffs. And that does include that photo card holder that Alen talked to you about as well, with that initial card in it. For those of you who are not familiar with the tariffs that get added on, so basically we are just guessing right now based on where tariffs stand right now. There is a 30% tariff in place today. If that stays 30% by the time these dolls are fully produced, that will be $15. If it goes down, then it will be less. And if it goes up, it could be more. But that's how it works. So again, if you are not a W Club member, it's $220 plus shipping, handling, and tariffs. And it's $199 for W Club members. We're going to ask you for a deposit today or over the next week if you want to pre-order it, and then you pay the balance when the dolls come due. If you're not a W Club member and you want to join, you can go to integritytoys.com and go to the W Club portion of the site and sign up for notification. We won't open up until probably February of next year, but we would love to have any of you participate. And for W Club members, we will put out an email that recaps all of this. And if you're not a W Club member, we'll have social media put up a link, and these will be available, Alen, I would imagine, open in the Integrity Toys shop for a pre-order for the next about a week time. I think it's
Correct.
next Thursday is the time frame. So hopefully everybody is excited that you can participate in this 30th anniversary celebration. And Jesse and Percy, thank you for this wonderful idea of capping off the 30th anniversary with this bonus surprise doll that really takes us back in this full circle moment, which is amazing. Any final words from anybody? Percy, want to say a last final word?
Thank you all. It's been a pleasure being here. I know you guys don't see much of me because I'm not really the type to like doing it. But I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for all the support, and hope you enjoy what we have presented here today.
Thank you, Percy. Thank you to everybody who's joined us live or who's watching later. Again, we appreciate your support so much. And here's looking to the future. We'll see you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye now.
Bye.